Sunrise mission is to provide for the unmet needs of our community and to honor the people that we employ to do that. We believe that everyone deserves a chance to live a fulfilled life and a second chance when it all goes sideways. It's a challenge for families to connect their loved ones to behavioral health services for many, many reasons. I would have to say our beginning was the most challenging. After that, you can do anything if you were able to do that. I grew up in a small rural community in central Kansas. My first job was at an institution in Colorado, and I was a physical therapist there. I was horrified. And my husband and I wanted to start a group home. We went west because we heard Washington was on the cutting edge and would open group homes. My husband and I had tried to open a group home in various parts of the state, and we came up against zoning law after zoning law, and there would always be opposition and fear of having people like that in their neighborhoods. So even though we kept trying, we just quite weren't able to cross that barrier. My husband's brother was out here and had started a group home. It was actually his family's home. And a few folks had come out of Fircrest, an institution, to live with him and his family. It was kind of the first group home in the state of Washington. Then he said he'd had enough. He was leaving, and would we want to take his group home? So we said yes, we did. So when we arrived, we found 3 boxes of records, one for each group home, very minimal records, let's say. There was 43 individuals living there, all with developmental disabilities. We didn't have any money and no employees, and there was only 2 of us, my husband and I. We decided that my husband would go to the Kmart and he would talk to everybody he saw going in and out of Kmart that day. He did that, and he found one woman, her name was Marie Golden, that agreed to come to the group home and to check it out and to bring all of her groceries that she had just bought with her. And so she came, and she was worth her weight in gold. That night, my husband Gene stayed at one home, I at the other, and Marie at one, so we were covered. We didn't have any money, so I went to work the next day. We took the clients to the sheltered workshop. Marie stayed home, cooked and cleaned and did laundry. And my husband shopped and took people to medical appointments. I went to work at the hospital in Seattle and convinced them to pay me by the day so that I could bring home money so that we could buy groceries for the 43 residents and the 3 of us, that's 46 people, 3 times a day. They agreed. I'd get home, cook, clean, prepare lunches, make the evening meal, so on and so forth. And we would do that. And this went on for about 4 months. With the help of some wonderful people at the state, we were able to get a contract to license the 3 homes and to get some money coming in. It seems like every time residents, clients needed more or the same thing that you or I or anybody in our community needs, we had to start that in order to make it happen.
In the field of work Sunrise is in as a whole, supported living and her first project was, in my opinion, the most challenging one. You're working with your people's lives 24/7, 365. Everything matters. Everything you do matters. It's never ends and it always goes. So to keep that passion up all the time and to find people that followed suit with that, that's what it took. It took Sue's determination and grit.
We don't take no for an answer. We know we can. We know we need to. We know our people in our community need us. The people we serve need us. If we can't, I mean, who can? We can do it. We can do it. If people can do it, we can do it.
She was definitely a visionary. There were a lot of things that had never been done before. There were a lot of services that had not been offered to people with developmental disabilities.
There were many firsts. People had never had a doctor in the community. People with developmental disabilities, they all had to go to an institution for their health care, for their dental care, for their pharmacy, for their prescriptions. And it was quite a challenge. We had to drive them back and forth. The difficulty about that was that we couldn't leave anyone at home unattended. We worked really hard to try to find local doctors to be primary care. We were able to kind of pioneer primary care for people with developmental disabilities in this community. We were able to set up dental care for our residents locally. Then we just had to figure out how to get the pharmacy and the dentist paid. And with a lot of advocacy and push, we were able to do that. So now we had a local pharmacy and a local dentist and local health care. And that was, kind of the first time that people with developmental disabilities were able to be served in their community for their health care.
Sue was a pioneer. She was one of the first people to establish a community living program. And so she was really in on the ground floor of that whole program.
Well, after we were immersed in the business of caring for people in residential setting, there were more services that they needed. There were employment services.
Back in 1983, people with developmental disabilities usually worked more in a sheltered environment, so the work would come in there. And maybe it was production type work, but it wasn't really honoring each person's individual choice. And it was her idea, let's go out and one by one find jobs for people with disabilities.
We asked the sheltered workshops if they would help them do that. And when we were met with no as the answer, we went to the county and asked the county, would you do an experiment? Would you help us set up a service where people could get a regular job and participate in their community? And they agreed to do that. So we started what was today supported employment. And it was the first in our community.
When people get a job, that becomes another part of who they are. And so the focus moves away from them thinking, I'm a person with mental illness, and they begin to see themselves as somebody who's part of the community instead of being isolated from the community. And humans are social beings, and so, you need to be connected.
As Sue just kept on growing, she just kept seeing the needs. And she, in fact, I think she saw the needs before a lot of other people. They didn't have job skills. They really didn't have independent living skills.
After I started with Sunrise, she added the mental health program. She added a substance abuse program. And she gave those new programs her full attention while they were being developed.
We were able to start home care services that weren't just based on volunteers.
She's from the community, and I used to tell staff in orientation, you're working for somebody in the community. Sue was very active with Sunrise. She had her office there, she spent her time there, And so she was very much part of the community. And she works long hours. But another thing about her is, despite that, she was very involved with her family. And, she didn't miss a birthday. She didn't miss an anniversary. She was very present with them. And so was Jean, the two of them together.
My husband was my partner. He did a lot of the physical things that are necessary to grease the wheels so that other people can do their work. They need supply. Sometimes they need maintenance, repairs, vehicles, gas. The list just goes on and on. Today it takes 5 people to do the job that he used to do. My husband is the biggest cheerleader and support. He was insistent that we could do better, that we could do more. He pushed. And I did. So that's kind of, we were a great partnership. He prayed for all of our employees and all of the people that we serve every day. And that's the thing I think that we miss the most, him shoring us up in that way. It takes a partnership to accomplish a lot. I guess I'm most proud of breaking the barriers for people with disabilities in our community. And I don't want to take the credit for it, neither would my husband. It really takes brave people to step out where you've never been, where you haven't been welcome. The folks that we served did that. They were very brave. They were very courageous. And it worked. They paved the way for other people. You need to accept that all people are differently abled. Working together with our different skills, being inclusive of the people we are serving as partners in the services that we are providing, that we are doing, is absolutely necessary if we want to bring out the best of their skills and their gifts. It's wonderful to see them respected by their family, by their friends, by their co-workers, to see people blossom, to see people take their place in the community. It's just very gratifying to know that through your efforts, people no longer need you. Isn't that great? That they can be on their own. There still is work to be done in the field of developmental disabilities and behavioral health so that it's not a stigma, so that people are accepted in daily life in our community. It's still a challenge. The work isn't over, and it continues. And I hope that when my day is done, which is not yet, that there'll be many people that carry on that good work. Yes, it's needed. I hope that each of our employees knows how grateful I am. I'm really proud of our employees and the work that they do. I'm proud of the effort that they do to do it correctly and right, and in right serving spirit.
Matching her passion, I think, is a standard for Sunrise. And that's really what fuels our ability to do the work in a very exciting way. Sue drives that passion all the way through and uses her leadership to inspire the rest of us.
There are waves of challenges that come and go over 46 years when administrations change, rules, laws, programs change, rather than starting at the point that you were and adding to and making it better. You often have to start over.
Sue is not a quitter. She's very smart, very strong, and she is gonna win no matter what happens. And so she follows things through. She makes sure things are done properly. She puts heart, soul, and body into everything she does. Sue Kloster's a pioneer in this field in the world, not just Western Washington, not in the United States, but Sue has done things. She's a true visionary. She sees the true need of the people that we serve, and not only finds funding for them, but finds passionate staff to do it and finds success in all of that. She's created a lot of this stuff herself, and the world's following suit. Sue is the curve. She's not following the curve, she is the curve.
Sunrise has done an excellent job in helping people in the mental health treatment side, but also looking at the whole person and what do they need to continue in their growth. When I was there, Sue was always open to the idea of what new thing, what new way can we help people to get engaged in the community. She is somebody who, she definitely looks at things a different way. She thinks outside the box, so extremely creative. She has a very gentle nature about her, but inside, those wheels are really turning. I would say Sue is probably an extremely good listener. She is somebody who takes in information and thinks about it and then moves forward and then brings together really good teams of people. I think that's the other thing that she's very smart at doing, is identifying in people who are creative enough.
She provided spaces where they felt valued and appreciated. Her heart was in what she did. She had a great smile, and it was sincere. She was a great listener, and it didn't matter who she was talking to, whether it was a client, whether it was a legislator. She was very focused on paying attention to them and hearing what they had to say.
Her passions really led the charge for the company, and she does what it takes to serve the people we do.
What's next at this time in course of Sunrise Services is getting back to providing progressive services now that our COVID crisis seems to be lifting. We can get back to living normal lives, get back to work, get back to relieving the trauma that so many people have had during the last 3 years. When things get torn down, the solution is to rebuild. And you have to rebuild many times over the course of your life. You just move on. Don't look back. Look forward. Rebuild. Persevere. Keep smiling. Keep moving forward.